Warning: the following video contains explicit language, which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Are you ready? Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Hope you had a nice day, nice Friday here. It was really nice here. Cloudy, but 72 and really nice out. Really nice out today. So great weather for Maine today. I'm going to be talking here about the shooting down in Georgia here. But before I do that, I want y'all to bear with me here while I read a rule of the road in the state of Maine here. Okay, I'm going to read this to you. So there's going to be a point here. Okay, so just bear with me. All right, pedestrians always have right of way. Comma, including at unmarked crosswalks and in the absence of traffic lights. Next road here, rule here. Using a handheld cell phone while driving is prohibited. Comma, even while temporarily stopped in traffic or at a stoplight. Okay, so why am I reading these two things? Well, first of all, let me just say, when you're reading a rule, okay, and there's a comma, that means the rule isn't being spelled out to you yet. Read the rest, okay? If I was to take this first rule and say pedestrians always have right of way, okay, then I would assume that they could just step right out in front of me or whatever, and I have to stop, right? And then it says, including at unmarked crosswalks and in absence of traffic lights. Okay, which clarifies the question that would come up if you didn't read the rest of that. Well, does it include when they're not on the crosswalk? Well, you see, if you read the rest of it, you could see that rule also includes that answer to that question. Okay, so that makes the rule more clear. About the cell phone thing, okay, people would assume that you can use your cell phone at a stoplight if you're not driving. Well, the rule actually says using a cell phone while driving, yes, is prohibited, and it's also prohibited if you are at a stoplight, at a traffic stop. Okay, so that includes that. So you see what I'm saying about reading the whole entirety of the rule that answers the questions. Okay, it's not just illegal to be using your cell phone while you're driving, it's also illegal if you are stopped at a stoplight. Okay, you cannot be on that fucking phone, period. All right, in fact, common sense, I guess, so that way you don't get in trouble, is just to shut the goddamn phone off when you're driving or inside your car, period. That way you ain't tempted to use it. And as far as the pedestrians and stuff, if you see somebody on the side of the road there that looks like they want to cross, you might just as well stop and let them cross. Because if they get a hair up their ass, they're going to jump out in front of you. Guess who's going to be at fault? You are, the driver. All right. So, but you see, if you just read half the rule, you're not going to get the whole the form of it. You know, you're not going to understand you know, when you get pulled over or something, you're gonna say, well, I didn't say that, it just said you know, and then you say, well, no, it says this as well. Okay, so people, when you read rules and stuff like that, you got to read the whole thing, even after the comma. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? Even after the comma, you got to read the whole thing about that. Now, I realize all that I just said sounds like, you know, horse shit, you know, and minutia. Well, it isn't, because when we talk about the Second Amendment and the rule that what it says, let's read that. Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, a well-regulated militia, comma, being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, comma, shall not be infringed. Okay? So that means, when you read this, it means a well-regulated militia, not just a well-regulated militia, period, a well-regulated militia, comma, which means there's more to it. Well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. Not period after that, comma. The right of the people to keep and bear arms, comma, not period, shall not be infringed. That means, you know, if these people are going to be part of a militia, they have a right to have weapons. All right? A well-regulated militia, which means when you regulate, that means government regulates it. Okay? It's not self-regulated. A well-regulated militia, meaning government authorities regulating the militia, which is necessary to the security of a free state. That's what it's after that comma, which was what it says, being necessary to the security. So a free state has to have a defense, a militia. At the time it was written, it would be a militia, okay? And the right of those people to have have weapons so they can be in that militia. You see what I'm saying? You got to read the whole goddamn text. You can't just, what a lot of people do that are Second Amendment believers, they skip the part about a well-regulated militia all the way up to where it says of a free state. Everything, those first two lines, well, that line and a half, they skip. And they go directly to the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Well, if you just read that part of it, yes, it sounds like it's talking only about the people. But if you read the first half of it, it's also talking about the militia. The people being in a militia have the right to keep and bear arms. You see what I'm saying? That's the part of that Republicans, you know, will always skip over, is that part about a well-regulated militia. They skip right over that line and a half, and they go directly to the right of the people to keep. You can't do that. That's only half the rule. It's like if I was reading them traffic law things and I only gave you half the fucking rule. Well, you're still not obeying the traffic law because you don't know the other half. Christ. You see what I'm saying? You people, when you look at that Second Amendment, okay, for Christ's sake, read the whole goddamn text from start to finish. Don't just cherry pick the last sentence and a half out of it and say this is the Second Amendment. No, you're only looking at half of it. That's half the Second Amendment. What's the other half? I bet you a lot of these gun nuts couldn't even tell you what the first part of that, how that starts. Now, how this connects to the Georgia shooting here. Well, let's go to the story here from Yahoo News. Colt Gray, that's the name of the 14-year-old boy that did the shooting. His name was Colt. He was named after a fucking handgun, believe it or not. Colt Gray and his father, Colin Gray, appear in court to face charges in Georgia school shooting. Colt Gray and his father made their first appearances in front of a judge at Georgia's Barrow County Superior Court on Friday morning, that's this morning, to face charges in the shooting deaths of 4 people at Appalachia High School on Wednesday. Shooting suspect Colt Gray, 14, is being charged as an adult, and Colin Gray, faces 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation said. Colt Gray, who appeared in court first, was told by Judge Curry Mingledorf II that his penalties would not include death because he is under 18. A preliminary hearing was set for December the 4th. His father was brought into court afterward and was told by the judge that he faces a maximum of 180 years in prison if convicted, which includes a 30-year maximum sentence on each of the second-degree murder charges he faces. His preliminary hearing was also set for December the 4th. Both Grays have temporary attorneys and plan to obtain alternate counsel by later today. Neither of them is seeking bond at this time. Now, questions about the gun. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation confirmed that Cullen knowingly allowed his son to possess a gun. Because of the active investigation, it could not provide further details, including whether Cullen gifted the gun to his son, as some media have reported. During a press conference on Wednesday, authorities said the weapon Colt allegedly used was an AR-style platform rifle, which is semi-automatic and frequently used in mass shootings. The shooting Wednesday killed 14-year-old students Mason Schermerhorn and Christian Angulo and educators Richard Aspinwall and Christina Irimi. 9 other people were injured in the shooting, 2 teachers and 7 students, officials said Thursday night. Authorities said all 9 will make a full recovery to be able to leave the hospital. Now, prior warnings. A Jackson County, Georgia police report obtained by Yahoo News found that users of the social media platform Discord had reached out to the FBI in May of 2023, warning that someone was threatening to shoot an unspecified middle school in the area. Hours after Colt Gray allegedly killed 4 people and injured 9 others at Appalachia High School in Georgia on Wednesday, the FBI Atlanta Division said that it had received those anonymous tips and that Jackson County officials had looked into Gray as the suspect. Quote, the Jackson County Sheriff's Office located a possible subject, a 13-year-old male, and interviewed him and his father, unquote, the FBI wrote. Quote, the father stated he had hunting guns in the house, but the subject did not have unsupervised access to them. The subject denied making the threats online, unquote. Following the tip from Discord users, authorities went to the Gray's residence and spoke to both Colt, who was then 13, and a student at Jefferson Middle School, and his father, Colin. According to the report, Colin denied knowing what Discord was, and Colt said he had deactivated his Discord account months prior. Discord is a free messaging app predominantly used in the gaming community. Quote, Colt expressed concern that someone is accusing him of threatening to shoot up a school, stating that he would never say such a thing, even in a joking manner, unquote. The report says, quote, Colt stated he stopped using Discord because too many people kept hacking his account, and he was afraid someone would use his information for nefarious purposes, unquote. The tip the FBI received about Discord account said it had been created in April of 2023 after Colt said he deleted his account. Screenshots of the Discord account showed that the username was in Russian and that the translation of the Russian letters spelled out the name Lanza. Authorities thought this referred to Adam Lanza, the 20-year-old who committed the mass shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newton, Connecticut in December of 2012. Quote, due to the inconsistent nature of the information received by the FBI, the allegation that Colt or Colin is the user behind the Discord account that made the threat cannot be substantiated, unquote, the report concluded. This case will be exceptionally cleared. The threats were generic and not a specific location or time. At this time, we don't have further information to share other than what was in our statement on our social media channels. New charges. While there is not a lot of precedent in charging the parents of minors involved in shootings, Michael Lawler, a lawyer and associate professor of criminal justice at the University of New Haven pointed to the April conviction of Jennifer and James Crumbly, whose son Ethan killed 4 students at Michigan's Oxford High School in 2021. According to Lawler, there are 2 key elements authorities had to consider when determining whether to criminally prosecute Gray's parents for the Appalachia shooting. Quote, if it can be proven that the 14-year-old actually did have unfettered access to the AR platform weapon used in the shooting, which would mean they lied to investigators in 23, and if it could be proven that the parents were aware of his homicidal postings, then a conviction would certainly be possible, unquote, Lawler told Yahoo News prior to the announcement that Colin Gray had been charged. The Crumbleys were accused of not properly securing their newly purchased gun at home when Ethan later brought it to school, and for not taking appropriate actions following signs of their son's mental health decline, even after being shown a violent and disturbing drawing Ethan had done. The Crumbleys were the first parents to be convicted in a U.S. mass school shooting committed by their child, and were sentenced to at least 10 years in prison. The statute says anyone convicted of involuntary manslaughter can face up to 10 years in prison. President Biden appeared to broach the issue Thursday afternoon in Westby, Wisconsin. Quote, there are too many people who are able to access guns that shouldn't be able to. Let's require safe storage of firearms. I know I have mine locked up. How could you not have an assault rifle, a weapon in a house not locked up and knowing your kid knows where it is? You gotta hold parents accountable if they let their child have access to these guns, Biden said. Authorities have not said where Gray obtained the AR-style rifle he's alleged to have used in the shooting. Okay, so here's the thing. Last year, this kid, Colt, got online and made some threats. FBI shows up, talked to him and his father. Okay, they lied up and down about, the details of it, trying to cover each other's ass. The FBI goes away. That Christmas, his father goes out and buys his kid an AR-15 fucking assault rifle for Christmas. Okay? He bought him that gun. Rifle, rather, I'm sorry. He bought him that fucking rifle. While he had that rifle, he was complaining to his mother, practically on his knees, I guess, basically, begging her that, he needed help because he was having some strange thoughts, about killing people and stuff like that. And they didn't do anything. Okay? All this shit's going to come out in the trial here, okay? They sat on their thumbs and they didn't do anything about this. So the kid, what's he do? He takes the gun, goes to school, and he shoots people with it. All right? Now, this is Georgia. They don't have any red flag laws down in that fucking state. Okay? And that's thanks to the shithead governor they got there. Okay? This is a governor, by the way, that when he ran for office was carrying a gun in his campaign ads. Okay? So the guy's out of his fucking mind. But this is the state he's running here. And he left the responsibility of stopping school shootings to the schools themselves. Basically, he dumped that responsibility on their shoulders. All right? The schools have to deal with it. The state's not going to deal with it. So, in light of this school, Appalachia High School, having this brand new system in place that they to protect the students, it turns out that it really didn't help anything at all because they never got to use it, even though it was already online and working. The shooting happened before anybody could use the system that they had in place. All right, and the people that actually stopped it were the guards that were in the school. They had school police or whatever you want to call them, security. They actually are the ones that stopped it before anybody could actually use this, the alert system that they had in the school for a shooting, emergency or whatever the hell you want to call it, shooter drill. So, by passing the buck, and putting it all on the school shoulders that they have to be the ones to be responsible to protect these kids and stuff like that. They do this so that way they can hang on to their guns in that state because the Second Amendment says they can have them. Okay? The Second Amendment says they're allowed to have guns. Okay? These are the same motherfuckers, by the way, who think that, you know, the first half of that Second Amendment rule doesn't exist. They don't think about that. Okay? And because they believe so firmly in that second half of that Second Amendment rule, to them, that's all they need to know. That's all they need to see. And you look at the bumper stickers on these ass hats when you see them, these gun lovers, okay? You're going to see only the second part of that Second Amendment tattooed on the bumper of their car. You're never going to see the full version of the Second Amendment written and taped to the car. It's always that last part says the right of the people to have bear arms. Well, if you just read that, yeah, naturally you're going to assume that's what the Second Amendment says. Well, you're wrong, because it doesn't. It says a whole lot more than that. Okay? There's 4 lines in that fucking thing, and they're only feeding you the last 2. Read the other 2 first, and read it all together, and then you're not going to be able to argue the point that this is a guaranteed right to every citizen. Now, if you want to round up people and put them in a fucking militia, well, that's different. But then that militia is going to have to be subjected to the government. The government has authority over that militia. You don't. But we don't need a militia. You know why? Because we have a National Guard. We have the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Coast Guard. We have ample fucking protection from foreign invaders. We don't need to have people armed to the teeth in this country. No. We're armed to the teeth because we're so afraid of each other. We don't trust one another, and we don't feel safe going anywhere outside unless we're armed. We look at each other like, you know, we're all criminals. Well, if you go around like that, thinking that way, yeah, somebody's going to take a gun out and shoot you. Christ, I mean, when people walk around in fear, what do you think their first reaction is going to be when they see something suspicious? Take that gun out, just like with that cop in Florida when he shot that Air Force airman. Everybody in Florida, you know, was walking around with guns, practically. So the police are on edge. Every situation, even just a domestic call, could end in a fucking gunfight in their mind. So they're always armed. Well, they go knock on that boy's door there in his apartment, and he answers the door with a gun in his hand, but at his side. The cop saw that and immediately shot. Okay? The kid didn't raise the gun. He was also black, by the way. Okay, I don't know if that matters. It shouldn't matter, but, you know, we're talking about the southern part of the country, and race does seem to matter a lot to those people down there. But the thing of it is that, you know, the police are on edge. They're scared of everybody because everybody could be carrying, you know. And so any situation, even if you're just going to walk up and talk to somebody, they got their hand right on the gun right off the bat, out in their holster, ready to draw. And if the cops are not trained to be able to get into a situation without escalating, these people should not be cops. Now, with this story here about Colt, he shouldn't have been given that gun, obviously. At 14 years old, he had no business with a fucking AR rifle, okay? That's ridiculous. All right? It's as ridiculous as giving a baby a 9mm, okay? You know, that's ridiculous. Kids at that age look at those things as toys, all right? And this guy clearly has no responsibility over the fact that his son had that gun. But he was sitting in court this morning crying that he could be looking at years in prison if convicted. I think he will be convicted, in fact, you know, because, you know, Georgia is going to do this, lay the blame on the family here, because, hey, that takes the blame away from the real problem, which is too many guns on the street. So they're going to make that family, the what's their last name? The Gray family, the sacrificial lamb, another sacrificial lamb on the altar of the guns for the gun lobby. Protect the gun lobby. So these people will definitely pay the ultimate price. I mean, maybe they can't give the son the death penalty, but they could sure put him in jail probably for the rest of his damn life if that's what they want to do. Okay, but the solution of the problem, they'll think, okay, we fixed the problem. We put these two people. No, you didn't fix a goddamn thing. Yeah, these two went to prison for what they did, or for the whole situation. The problem remains. There's another kid out there with a gun, and he's probably going to be shooting kids up in a school. Okay, are you going to lock up everybody in the state of Georgia? Okay. And do you think the parents are going to sit still for this forever, being brought into court because their kid did something terrible? I mean, aside from the fact that, yeah, you're going to be holding parents accountable, it doesn't seem like it's really going to matter at the end of the day. I mean, this is the second time we've had to put a parent here on trial with the kid that did the shooting. You think the country would have got the message with the grumblies, or whatever the hell they called them, okay? You think the hell they would have learned the lesson that, okay, now you're going to be responsible. Kid's only 14. He's under your care. That's your responsibility, and you failed. So, they're just going to be held to the same account for their kid's mistake. Let's go to commercial break here and run a little bit long.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me!
This is me.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Ruth McLaughlin, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
In this election, we each face a question. What kind of country do we want to live in? There are some people who think we should be a country of chaos, of fear, of hate. But us, we choose something different. We choose freedom.
Freedom, freedom, I can't move. Freedom, cut me loose. Yeah. Freedom, freedom, where are you? 'Cause I need freedom too.
The freedom not just to get by, but get ahead. The freedom to be safe from gun violence. The freedom to make decisions about your own body. We choose a future where no child lives in poverty, where we can all afford health care, where no one is above the law. We believe in the promise of America, and we're ready to fight for it. Because when we fight, we win. So join us. Go to KamalaHarris.com and let's get to work.
I'ma keep on running 'cause the winner don't quit on themselves.
Driver's license, registration.
Here you go, sir. How's your day going?
That your daughter?
Sure is.
Abigail, right?
How do you know her?
Were you about 8 weeks pregnant? So you've been spotting recently. You've had any cramps or nausea?
That's personal.
You've been taking your prenatal vitamins?
Excuse me?
Are you ticketing me for something?
Where are you heading, Abigail?
To go see my older sister, Natalie.
Well, that's strange. 'Cause it says here that Natalie's at a concert in Dallas. And your navigation is set to a women's health clinic in one of those abortion states.
We have the right to travel.
Not anymore. Step out of the car.
Please, officer.
Both of you out now. You, sir, are under arrest for crossing state lines to obtain an abortion for a minor under your care. And you, young lady, well, you're under arrest for evading motherhood.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it.
It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Welcome back. Now, there was another school shooting, by the way, in case you didn't know, this week. And I'm going to read this story because Donald Trump had something to say about that. All right. This school shooting happened in Iowa. And his comments came 36 hours and a day after other Republicans had addressed the shooting that took the life of 6th grade student and injured others. Donald Trump on Friday extended condolences following a school shooting in Iowa this week that left 1 dead and 7 wounded before urging supporters to move forward. Quote, "I want to send our support and our deepest sympathies to the victims and families touched by the terrible school shooting yesterday in Perry, Iowa," Trump said during a campaign rally. Quote, "It's just horrible. So surprising to see it here. But we have to get over it. We have to move forward," unquote, he added. We have to get over it. We have to get over it. He tells people we got to get over a fucking school shooting. 7 people injured, 1 dead. We got to get over it. You know, maybe I shouldn't be surprised. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised at all that that's how he's going to deal with that. Okay? That man has never said anything that was sincere or that had any emotional, I don't know what you say, any kindness. That man's never shown any kindness to anything at all since we've known him, okay? He doesn't do kindness, okay? He doesn't do empathy. He doesn't do any of that shit. And maybe that's why MAGA likes it. Maybe that's how they like our leader to be. Cruel, mean-spirited, bigoted. That's what they want for a fucking leader, okay? Well, they got the best guy they could find for that because that's exactly what he is, all right? And to think that this son of a bitch gets on public television now, millions of people watching this, knowing that there's people grieving all around the country over that shooting and the one that happened in Georgia this week, and he says something as callous as that, and he probably don't even realize how that sounded to the people watching, okay? But he says this, and you have to wonder, maybe this is the reason why our country is where it is socially, okay? Because we have too many people, you know, in the, whatever you want to call it, the swamp of politics, okay? Or in the swamp of the business world, who are just like that in that caliber. They don't give a shit. They don't care. Okay, kids could be setting off nukes in these fucking schools and they still wouldn't care. You know? That's what these people are. And please, don't tell me they're Christian. Okay? They lost the right to that fucking label a long time ago. These people are not Christian by the fucking definition of the word Christian. They do not qualify to hold that label. So please, don't insult my intelligence by saying you're a Christian. You are not a Christian. Jesus would ban you from his group of followers. You guys would get the tongue lashing of your life if he was alive today. All right. But this is what you got from this fucking group of magats. All right, that's what you got. The blind leading the blind. And you know, I feel like, you know, it doesn't do any good to really discuss things with these people. I had a friend here that was trying to tell me that the only way this country can heal after MAGA is to reunify this country, to bring the two sides back together again. And I said, you know what? That's probably going to be a job right there in itself that would occupy a generation or two of constant work. Because what that man did in just 12 years, Donald Trump, is going to take generations to fix our political system. He's tainted the system. So it doesn't matter. He could drop dead today and Kamala would win the presidency. We would still be dealing with the fallout from MAGA. We would still be dealing with the fallout of having Trump involved in our politics. He's wrecked it. People, he has wrecked it. He's wrecked our image around the world. He's wrecked the goddamn system of politics. Okay? He's shown us all the cracks in the system that can be manipulated by people of wealth. Okay? So we see all the problems that have to be fixed, and it's daunting. Okay? And the people that are out there bitching and complaining that the country's all against them, well, they're also the same people out there making it miserable for everybody else to live in this country. So you see what I'm saying? When Trump's dead and buried, they're going to be a cult looking for a new leader, and they're going to find one. And then that will be the person that will be on our ass all the time and drive us up the fucking wall. It could be Ron DeSantis for all I fucking know. I mean, that's, you know what I'm saying? There's always going to be another asshat like Trump down the road. And if people don't smarten up and see these folks for what they are, you know, we're gonna be right back where we are right now. Okay? We really are. And next time we might not be so lucky to get rid of the bastard. But believe me, they're not going to quit. These people, it's more than just Trump. At this point now, Trump is already dead meat, okay? At this point, it's really MAGA now that's the worry. Because those people are the ones with a cult mentality. They won't stop. They won't fucking stop. They're going to be at everybody's fucking door all the time. So, on that point, we have to trust in law enforcement to be able to continue to keep these people at bay. Otherwise, they'll get what they want Trump to do, no matter if Trump's alive or not. They'll get their way, one way or the other, if they have to do it. And the fact is that, you know, with the way things are with politics today, there's so many things that need to be fixed in it that we've been skating, we've been kicking the can down the road for so long now that can has turned into a fucking mountain. All right? It has. We can't kick it anymore. The problem is there, we can't ignore it. You know, if we try to ignore it, we're gonna get an avalanche. But we're gonna have to do something. We're gonna have to do something. Whether Trump wins or not, it's gonna be up to America itself to decide, you know, what's gonna happen with whoever's in the White House. And if Trump's in there, it's gonna be up to the rest of the country who didn't want him in there to do something about it. Okay, it's come to that point, unfortunately. Hate to say it, but it really has come to that point, because I can't imagine, you know, how much worse it could have been before, you know, before the shot at Fort Sumter or whatever, you know, that started the Civil War. Can't imagine how it could be any less or even more than it is now. I mean, you know, somehow I feel like our country is just as divided as it was then, you know. And if that's all it took back then to start, you know, a civil unrest, then, you know, I can only see that we're just, you know, a few steps away from having a repeat of history once again, you know. And, you know, it's a sad time. I mean, the Democrats are clinging to the hope that, you know, having Kamala in there is going to alleviate some of this mess that Trump's created. But it's not going to be just her responsibility to do that, you understand. It's going to be up to the rest of us to chip in as well. She can say all she wants about how she wants to fix the country, but it's up to us to follow her lead. You see, it's like, you know, it's like wishing people well and stuff. You know, I want people to feel good about being American and stuff like that. Well, okay, but you know, you don't have a magic wand. You can't just deem people to feel better. You got to expect the people to find a way to make themselves feel better about being in this country, okay? And that means they have to see hope. Kamala is going to be the beacon of hope the rest of us must see to understand that we can have a better tomorrow. Trump isn't that beacon, okay? He's the blight on the country that we have to get rid of, okay? The cure is Kamala Harris, and the blight is Trump, obviously. He's not hope, okay? Hell, most of the time he can't even talk about anything happy in his rallies and stuff. He's just driving people wanting to kill themselves. Listen, when they come out of these rallies, they just want to blow their head off because he's so doom and gloom all the time when he talks. Hell, these people, I talk to them, you know, on my, you know, my comments and stuff, and everything about them is doom and gloom. Oh, it's going to be bad. You know, they're trying to bring that mood that Trump has created and incorporate that onto the other side. The other side is not about doom and gloom. If you think that's what it is, you're wrong. Okay? The Democrats are all about hope and about a better tomorrow. The other side is about holding back, being afraid of the future. You know, give the rich everything they want to keep us from having a bad time. Hey, you guys have already laid out the plan that's going to get you right back where you don't want to be. That's what they're about, and you're too short-sighted to even see what the hell they're all about. Fact is, that path is the wrong path. It always has been. Okay, the other path is the more rocky path, the one least tried, but it's the best path to a better tomorrow. It's never easy to change for the better, and we certainly got a lot in this country to change after having Trump in our face for 12 years or more. Okay, he certainly did a lot of damage, and it's going to take a lot to fix it. And part of that's going to be changing attitudes, a lot of attitudes, and that's going to be a tall order for America. I mean, it's almost going to be, at this point, as difficult as it is to make people colorblind about skin, you know. I mean, it's going to be a tall order, you know. And I don't envy Kamala wanting to be president in a time like this, okay? Even though Biden did some good things and turned the country around before we ended up in another depression or something like that, you know, that was going to happen when Trump left. He saved the country in that manner in 4 years. Did a lot. He opened the door here to some jobs, got a factory getting built. We're gonna start making computer chips and all kinds of stuff. All right, we're gonna have an industry back in this country again, all thanks to him. And that means people are gonna get paid some decent money. That'll strengthen the buying power of Americans. But the other side is talking about, putting higher tariffs on Chinese and foreign imports, which is going to cost us more in the stores when we go buy things, because guess who ends up paying those tariffs? We do. Corporations will pass the buck on to us. They're not going to pay that. They're going to make us pay it, So, again, people are bitching about prices, the price of goods being high. Well, it's going to get even higher if Trump gets in there, and all the analysts, all the investors, everybody in the economy, even Trump's own fucking people who were in his administration are all saying he's full of shit. It's not going to do a damn bit of good for this country, raising tariffs. He's going to spark a revolt against us from other countries, making it harder for us to do business with them. It's going to create another trade war. And we already had some of that when Trump was in office, and look what happened. The price of goods started to climb up and get more expensive, And now all of a sudden they want to do a repeat of that. That's the only idea he's got. No other idea. They tried to ask him about, how can you make childcare more affordable for Americans? And in some convoluted word salad way, he injected higher tariffs into the conversation about childcare, and one big answer. And everybody was like, what? What the hell? Somehow he conflated that, if we got higher tariffs, it'll make it cheaper for people to have childcare and stuff. It's like, how does that happen? I don't even think this guy knows what he's talking about most of the time. I'm really scared to death about this guy being president and J.D. Vance being a heartbeat away from being president. Because to me, Trump doesn't sound like he's got the best health around. I mean, he could drop dead tomorrow. I mean, he's showing those signs, people. Dementia. He's showing it bad. Every fucking day when he's at a rally, people are recording him, trying to say things and he can't get it out. And it's showing more now than ever. And, what are you thinking? Is he going to make if he becomes president, is he going to be able to make the 4 years? I don't think so. He'll be older than Biden by the time he reaches the last year of his thing. How's he going to be then in 4 more years if he's like this now? Christ, he's a wreck mentally. I mean, listen to when he talks. He goes off in tangents all the time. He lies about things. He creates stories that never happened. Dementia. I seen what dementia does. I mean, I had a grandfather that died from that fucking disease. Okay? And I'm sure a lot of you out there probably have seen that happen too. And the early onset of it is a lot like what Trump's going through right now. And I'm telling you, he's got it. And why is he hiding his fucking medical records? Okay? If he's fine. Okay? He wouldn't even let anybody see the medical records or anything like that after he supposedly got shot in the ear at that rally. They all kept that away from everybody. Never happened before. When Reagan was shot, Christ, the media had all the fucking info coming out their ass. They couldn't stop it from coming out. But no, so like I said, it's fucking crazy how we got this guy in the system and then the media trying to convince us that this race is nose to nose, okay? That this is a neck and neck race, and Kamala's only out by 6 points, still within the margin of error. Bullshit. Bull fucking shit. Okay? Nobody running against a convicted felon 20 times over, okay? A rapist, okay? A failed businessman and lies all the time. Nobody would be neck and neck with that man, okay, running for president. He would be so far behind, it would be laughable. The press knows this. Okay? They know that he's behind. They know Kamala's way out ahead. Okay? But if they start telling people that, guess what? People ain't going to be watching the news that much anymore. And, you know, getting a spot on the media to put commercials and stuff like that in there is, you know, it's expensive. So they're not going to buy that spot unless they can get a guarantee that people are going to tune in. Okay, like MSNBC, CBS, Fox, whatever. All these channels, when you see commercials, these people are they're gambling that, you know, they're going to get money as long as these news outlets keep saying it's a tight race, it's close, it's close, it's close. No, it ain't close. All right, it's not close at all. People, it's an insult to my intelligence that the media is trying to convince me that Kamala is not way out ahead here, okay? And no fucking form is that even possible. Now, the polling they do, like I said, I never believe that either. Because the way they do polling today is the same way they did it 50 years ago. It hasn't changed. How many people answer the phone with unknown numbers? Okay, I get calls all the time from numbers that I have no, you know, from different states and stuff like that. I don't even answer that. It goes right to voicemail. I don't even have a house phone anymore. Okay, so I don't get calls that way either. I never get asked online for who am I going to vote for, what my opinion is. Never get a thing about that. In over 52 years, I have never got one fucking call about any political question at all in 52 years. Okay? I get more questions from just common idiots out there, you know, who troll my fucking pages than I get from any campaign committee. So, I have to say, unless you can show me where you call 1,500 people, give me the names of those folks, and how I can verify they did get that call, I'm not going to believe it. And where did you call these people? Was it a red state? Was it a red county? Was it a blue state? Was it a blue county? Okay? Let me ask you, how the hell can you trust anything like that? And say, we took a poll and she's way out ahead, or he's way out ahead. They select where they want to get the polling data, okay? They select the places. They know the counties. They've been doing this for years. They know what's red, what's blue, what's purple, okay? And they pick the ones they want to use for the numbers to give people a scare, to get people riveted to their news channel. That's how it works. It's all about the fucking money, because that gets advertisers. Don't listen to them, people. I don't care if the news sounds good to you. If it's saying Trump's way out ahead, don't take their word for that. They're lying to you. Okay? If they say Kamala's out ahead, again, don't take their word for it. They're lying to you. Okay? You don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows what the real poll numbers are or what the attitude of the country is as a whole, because, hey, why get the truth? If the truth isn't going to make it rich for the fucking people that put advertisements on our channel, we're never going to tell you. Have they ever explained to you how they grab these fucking numbers, by the way? Somebody should ask them about that one day. Call one of these cocksuckers up on their show whenever they got taking phone calls and ask them, how the hell do you conduct your polls? Or go to these companies that do it and ask them direct, okay? You cut out the middleman. Go ask them, where do you get the poll numbers from? Where are you calling? Get the details from them, okay? Find out. Because I'm telling you right now, people, there's no logic in this race between Trump and Kamala being neck and neck all the way up to the top. No, I'm sorry. I don't believe that for a second. Okay, you're trying to say that a criminal is the same as an attorney, okay, or a politician. That's like saying the devil is equal to God. You know, that if God and the devil ran together as emperor of the world, they would be neck and neck all the way. Give me a fucking break. All right? People are stupid, but they're not that dumb to think that, you know, somebody as sick as Trump could actually make it a challenge for someone as good as Kamala Harris to be able to, you know, forget it. I don't fucking believe that for a second. I'm sorry. But polling does not mean, for the last 10 years, polling data has been off by a big fucking margin in a lot of political campaigns and stuff like that. Okay? Remember the big red wave that was supposed to come there? Never happened, did it? That very night, everybody was all shocked. I can't believe it's not happened. You know, they've been, because it's the media pushing out that fucking narrative to get everybody all built up. No. That's what the bottom line is. And you people out there, you know, that comment on my stuff and get mad at me for talking, you ain't got a damn thing to worry about. Nothing I say, okay, is going to change anything. Nothing I say is going to change anything. I know this. I'm not an idiot. Okay? I'm just a voice crying in the wilderness. All I'm doing is I'm trying to just put out the idea that, hey, look, I'm not a stupid idiot. Okay? I understand how the world works. I know how it works. And I see how a lot of you have fallen for it. But you guys have fallen for it so bad you don't even know. And you think I'm the one that's crazy because I'm telling you that you've fallen into a trap and you don't know how to get out of it. Okay? And, you know, I feel like, you know, these people that I sometimes argue with when I ain't got nothing better to do, I feel like, you know, I'm just pounding my head into the wall all the time, okay? It's just not going to do any damn good. These people are thinking on a different wavelength that has nothing to do with sanity. Okay? It's got nothing to do with sanity. And, you know, unless you're a therapist or a psychiatrist or a psychologist, you're not really going to know how to punch through that fucking cement that they got around their brain. You're not really going to know how to get through that. I'm not a therapist or anything like that, so I can't penetrate that thickness they got around their skull. But by me coming out here and doing these shows and letting people know, or just illustrating before you the stupidity that's going on around us, maybe, you know, it might give some of you a pause to think a little bit, you know, about whether or not where you're standing is actually a legitimate stand in something. If you can't question where you stand, you're not really on certain ground, are you? Okay? If you can't challenge your beliefs, then your beliefs really aren't that strong, are they? If you're so sure Trump is the man, but you won't question that or even look a little bit into the things that he says, whether or not they're, you know, serious or not, or whether he really means what he says, if you can't challenge your perceptions of this man, then he's really just a two-dimensional figure, you know, stick figure. He's really not that, you know, he has nothing. You know, you're just, it's like watching a football game where you've got no stake in it, okay? You like your team, you want them to win, and you don't care how they win as long as they win. Okay, you're treating this political election here much the same way. You're watching it, you're rooting for your home team, okay, but you're not really invested in it, you're not really committed in it, you know, you're not doing anything supposedly to help it along, you're just watching it. All right? Because if you were involved in it, you wouldn't have time to seek people like me out and spend your time trolling my, you know, my web, pages that I'm at and stuff like that. You wouldn't be doing that. Okay? You'd have your nose to the grindstone. You'd be doing the work, the legwork to get things done. So, like I said, what I say doesn't matter here. Okay? You can watch these videos or not. I don't care. I'm doing this not for money, because it's free. I'm doing this not for your entertainment, because I don't care if you like it or not, all right? I don't care. I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for my own personal pleasure. That's it. And, you know, if that sounds insulting to you, well, I'm not going to apologize for that, because I'm being honest. You know, I'm just being honest. I got no reason to lie to anybody. you know, on here about things. If I'm wrong about something and someone points it out to me, you know, and shows me where I'm wrong, then I'll admit it. I was wrong, okay? But I'm not going to stand on a stack of house of cards here, you know, like, what's his face here, that big mouth there that was talking about Sandy Hook. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but him there, okay? I'm not going to do what he does, okay? I'm not going to make up bullshit, conspiracy theories and stuff like that and get people to believe it. Not going to do that in the least, okay? It has no interest in me at all. Don't care at all about doing stuff like that. Not Jim Jones, for Christ's sake. I'm just your average asshole that you meet across the road. That's it. Alright, so that's it for today. I hope everybody has a great weekend. So subscribe, comment, and share. And please keep your ears open for any health-related matters. And treat each other kindly out there. Try to keep an eye on your kids in school if you're still going to let them go to school. I can certainly understand if you don't want your kids to go to school. I think if I had kids, I probably would want them out of school too. If I lived in an area like that, of course, around here we don't get that much, but you know what I mean. So do what you think is best. Show some initiative, and maybe that in itself might kick a rock over to start something different, you know, I don't know. But I'll talk to you guys later. Take care, everybody. Bye.